Hello, welcome to our Pilates class by the beautiful Santa Monica Mountains. Today I'm going to take you through a Pilates class, intermediate to beginner with scaling. Please take care of your own body. You are in charge of being the master of your body. Challenge yourself and respect yourself. Always listen to yourself and understand what modifications you need to make the work for you the most powerful. So let's begin in standing today. Our class will focus on really establishing the powerhouse foundation of the body. We begin in standing, and then we will amplify that in the mat work and then come up to standing to finish. To begin, please stand at the edge of your mat, and we'll begin with a roll down. Bringing the feet directly in line with your hip bones, the ASIS, the two little hip bones on the front of your body. The center of the foot and the second toe is in alignment with that. Back your body up over your heels and then press the balls of the feet down so your weight is right in the center of your foot, the tripod between the big toe knuckle, the little toe knuckle, and your heel. The pelvis is upright. You feel the two hip bones and the pubic bone are vertical to the earth. You feel as though there is a weight on your tailbone taking you straight down towards the earth. Then there are two strings pulling the back of the skull up to the sky. And oftentimes just those two landmarks can help establish your center and align the body. We can add on, the collarbone is wide. The ribs are anchored into your powerhouse. And then take a deep breath into the mid-back between your shoulder blades. And then soften your knees. We'll begin with a roll down, chin to chest. One vertebra at a time, melting down into your mat. Arms are long, head is heavy. Just as far as you feel is good for you this morning, take a deep breath in and then exhale, root down, tailbone through the feet, lengthening up one vertebra at a time. Take a deep breath in, arms all the way up by the ears, open the chest, give your seat and your abdominals a hug and open the arms. Soften your knees 2 more times, chin to chest, exhale, melting down. Increasing the space between the vertebrae. Deep breath in. Now feeling the chain reverse. Exhale, tailbone roots down to begin. Rolling up one vertebra at a time. Glutes and sits bones strongly tethered through the heels. Inhale all the way up. Abdominals zip up from the pelvic floor along the front of the spine. Opening the arms out to the side, chin to chest. Rolling down. One vertebra at a time, melting, head is heavy, arms are heavy. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, tailbone roots down, sits bones anchor down through the heels, rolling up one vertebra at a time. And take a deep breath in, lift the chest, open the collarbone, arms up by the ears, opening the arms down by the side of the body. And then truly, consciously bringing awareness to one's alignment. Oftentimes it feels much more centered after just these 3 opening roll downs. The pelvis is right in the center of your feet, neither forward nor back, left or right. Bring yourself into your true center, very rooted into the center. And then feel how the abdominals can flatten across the front of your hip bones. There's a deep internal lift drawing up from the inside arches of your feet, along the inside of the legs, all the way up through your pelvic floor, along the front of the spine, out through the crown of the head. The back line, the sits bones are anchoring or rooting down through your heels. So there's a very strong feeling of being rooted and grounded. Here you can take deep breaths into the mid-back, into the low back. We call this posterolateral breathing, into the sides and the back of the body. Accessing very large part of our lungs here in the low part rather than up in our chest where we can trigger our fight or flight mechanisms. We want to activate our parasympathetic nervous system, breathing into this posterolateral region of our body. Take a deep breath in, just feeling that center. And then as you exhale, cross your arms, cross your ankles, lower your body to the mat. Hands come as they need to. And let's begin lying in a supine position, hook lying position, it's called, with the heels in line with the sits bones, about 6 inches away. And we'll begin with pelvic tilts. Place the heels of the hands on your ASIS, those sharp little hip bones on the front of your pelvis, and the fingertips draw down towards the base of the pelvis. Inhale, lengthening your spine to begin. And as you exhale, use the abdominals to imprint the lower back into the mat. That is the abdominal and pelvic floor activation, which precedes gluteal engagement and external muscular engagement. And then inhale back to neutral. And now allow yourself to go into a little bit of an arch in your lower back, feeling the tailbone dive down towards the earth, and then coming back to neutral. Once again, take a deep breath in to prepare. As you exhale, imprint the lower back, tilting the pelvis into a posterior tilt. Inhale, back to neutral, into an anterior tilt. This can help to begin to condition the psoas and the diaphragm, which are essential to efficient movement in our body. Exhale to imprint and inhale to lengthen. Back to center. We establish our neutral pelvis such that the plane of the pelvis is parallel to the mat. The ribs are anchored such that our rib cage is parallel to the mat. We have a tiny space in our lower back and a space in the back of the neck, and that is our neutral spine and neutral pelvis. Bring the arms along the sides of the body, and let's begin now another exercise to condition the diaphragm and the psoas, keeping the pelvis rooted into the mat and the ribs anchored. You take a deep breath into the length of the spine. As you exhale, cinch your core, your transverse abdominis. So there's a bracing of the core that happens here. It's almost like I'm imprinting the ribs into the mat and my pelvis into the mat. I'm very rooted. Keeping that imprint, I inhale and I lengthen the same arm and leg away from one another, being careful not to splay the ribs nor to tilt the pelvis. Exhale to bring the arm and leg back. Same thing other side. Inhale, I lengthen, being very rooted in my pelvis and my rib cage, and exhale to return. Deep breath in to lengthen, and it's absolutely fine if your arm and leg don't straighten all the way. If you're tight in your hip flexors or in the shoulder girdle, this is an opportunity to establish stability in the pelvis and the rib cage, which will then allow over time more range of motion through the shoulder and the hip. Take a deep breath in, last one. Inhaling through the nose, filling the torso with air, and exhale to return. Flat abdominal wall. One more. Take a deep breath in, and exhale all the way back. Moving on into our hundreds position. Take a deep breath into the length of the spine, maintaining that core bracing. Float the left leg up to tabletop on an exhale. Inhale. On an exhale, float the right leg up to tabletop. No doming of the abdominal wall. It stays flat and banded to access the deep transverse abdominis. Take a deep breath in. Chin to chest, exhale, roll the upper body off the mat. Here I'm striving to draw my shoulder blades off the mat as much as possible. Ribs are anchoring down towards my pelvis. Pelvis is flat, pubic bone and tailbone are flat to the floor. And then we can just hold here, take a deep breath in, lengthening the spine. And exhale and shrink wrap. Building endurance in these slow twitch muscles. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. And from there I can begin pulsing my arms. My collarbone is wide. I breathe in for 5. And out for 5. That's a count of 10 for 10 times is the 100. Inhale. And exhale, and inhale, and exhale. To advance, we can straighten the legs towards the sky, rotating from the top of the hip to access the deep gluteal muscles. And we can take the legs long away from us, increasing the lever line, while maintaining the stability of the lumbar spine and of the pelvis, just to the level where you can maintain control. If you feel that you're about to arch your lower back, that's the time to back off and bring your legs back towards the sky. Deep breath in. And exhale. Powerful line from the back of the ribs, through the seat, through the heels. Flex your feet. Really find that posterior chain. And then exhale, squeeze the knees into you. Take a deep breath in, exhale, roll yourself up to sitting. Let's go right into the roll back, starting with the legs in a bent position. Legs together, hands behind the back of the legs. Take a deep breath in, lengthening, two-way stretch of the spine, up and down. Exhale, scooping. Deep abdominals are tilting the pelvis backward. Finding your challenge point, take a deep breath in, collarbone stays wide. Exhale, chin to chest, rounding back up over yourself, deepening the abdominal engagement underneath the ribcage into the pelvis. And then inhale, long spine, we go. Exhale, scooping, pelvis rocks back. Sits bones are reaching through my feet. Feet stay anchored into the mat. Deep breath in. Collarbone is wide. And exhale, rounding into a C curve such that my shoulders reside over my hips. And then inhale, those two strings pull me up to the sky and my sits bones reach through the earth. One more, inhale. And exhale, we scoop. Really sending the glutes through the heels. Feet stay anchored into the mat. Collarbone is wide, neck is free. Deep breath in. And exhale, up. And inhale, tall spine. Staying with that. Or level 2, progressing into a straight leg. Arms out in front. Deep breath in. Exhale, and you scoop. Legs imprint into the earth. Sending the back body through the heels. Inhale, arms reach. Long reach overhead. Keeping the ribs anchored to the mat. Arms float back to the sky. Deep breath in. Chin to chest, rounding. Up and over. Into a spine stretch forward. Staying equally rooted on both sits bones. Exhale, rolling right back down. Energy reaches from the seat through the heels. Deep breath in. And chin to chest. Exhale, rolling back up. Shoulder blades anchored down the back. Neck is long. Scooping inside yourself. And exhale, rolling all the way back down. Deep breath in. And arms to the sky, shoulder blades down the back, chin to chest. Really sending the energy of the sits bones through the heels. Abdominals zipping in and up along the spine. Last one, exhale, scoop, rolling down. Ironing out the lumbar spine, imprinting the legs into the mat. Deep breath in. And arms to the sky, shoulder blades down the back, chin to chest. Ribs soften towards the pelvis, anchoring through the sits bones. Deep breath in. Exhale, scoop, rolling all the way back. To advance, you may roll back with the arms up by the ears. One vertebra at a time, keeping the legs rooted. And then arms sweep all the way down by the sides of the body. Progressing, let's go right into a single leg stretch prior to our single leg circle, drawing the knee into the chest, bringing it quite close to the body, flexing the ankle, extending the energy of the sits bone through the heel, striving to straighten the back line of the leg by activating the front line. And then place the left hand on the hip, open the leg out to your right side, keeping the left hip down. Flex and point the ankle 3 times, maintaining your abdominal zipper. Ribs are anchored into the mat. My core is working hard to stabilize me here. I'm not relaxed. And then bringing the leg across the body. Right hip stays down. Flex and point 3 times here, flossing the tissues of the lateral leg. Back to center, nose to the knee. Let's do the other side. Drawing that knee in quite close to the chest. Clavicle is wide, ribs are anchored, maintaining neutral pelvis, neutral spine. I like to imprint the back of my right leg into the mat to really establish that posterior chain engagement. Once again, I'm not just relaxed, I'm pressing my body down into the earth, maintaining stability. When we have stability, our body, our nervous system, understands that we're protected and safe, and it will give us more range. So we're repeating the whole thing on this side, flexing and pointing, ribs are anchored, pelvis is anchored, bringing the leg back, nose to the knee. Let's go on into single leg circle. To begin, one would start with the knees bent, neutral pelvis, Neutral spine, rib cage is anchored, abdominals are zipped, sits bones reaching through the heels. Extend right leg to the sky, rotate it from the top of the hip such that the knee and toe point towards your shoulder. We'll take a small single leg circle across the body, around, and stop. The motion is being driven by your abdominal wall, and the core is working to keep your body, and then reverse the motion, to keep the body steady as you power the leg through space. It would be very easy for me to do this with my body going side to side. Let's do the other side. It's much more difficult to center, cinching the ribs, cinching the abdominals and the pelvis to stay grounded. We inhale across the body, exhale out and around and stop. Inhale, exhale out around and stop. Inhale, exhaling. Feeling that leg bone and reverse. Draw right down into the hip socket. That is centration of the joint. Feeling the leg bone right in the center of the socket. Draw the leg in. Let's progress into a full leg, more advanced, or do that one more time if that felt appropriate to you. If you're able to straighten that left leg on the mat, rotate the right leg out in the hip socket, we advance into the full single leg circle. Arms are placed at 45 degrees alongside the body, ribs are anchored, abdominals are zipped, left leg is pressing into the mat. Inhale across the body, exhale out around and stop. Inhale across, exhaling out around and stop. Once again, using the core to establish stability of the pelvis and the rib cage while we wheel that leg in beautiful circles through space. Hug the knee to the nose, and the other side. Rotating the leg out in the hip socket, imprint the right leg into the mat, imprint the pelvis, the ribs, and the back of the skull. Inhale, long spine, two-way stretch. Circling the leg across the body, around and stop. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and reverse. Inhaling out, exhaling across. Inhaling out, exhaling across. One more, inhale and exhale. Draw the knees to the nose. And then inhale, rock back, exhale, roll up to sitting. Next is rolling like a ball. Draw the hands to begin underneath the back of your thighs, sitting up nice and tall on the two sits bones. Oftentimes we sit more or less on one or the other. This is an opportunity to really equivocate that, feel right in the center of the two. And then elbows are wide, collarbone is wide, back is powerful. Exhale, scoop pelvic floor and abdominals such that the feet float just an inch or two off the mat, and then float back down. And just practice that a few times. Exhale, scoop deeply inside yourself, and then all the way back down. Establishing and training this deep powerhouse lift inside, almost like there is a string originating on the spine just below the belly button to the feet, and you are reeling in the legs from that string. From there, rolling like a ball. We inhale, rock back to the base of the shoulder blades. Exhale up, establishing that braking system with that deep powerhouse. Inhale, rocking back. Exhale, up and balance. Neck stays relaxed. Collarbone stays wide. Holding the shape, my arms and my legs are gently pressing into one another in an isometric contraction to allow stability and dynamic tension to facilitate the movement. To progress, place the feet down, take hold of the ankles, and draw the shape quite close to you such that perhaps the temples could go right between the knees. And then it's the same thing, drawing the feet off the mat from those low abdominals, scooping deeply inside, arms and legs pressing against one another. Inhale, rocking back. Exhale up to balance and breaking with the powerhouse. Inhale, exhaling up. Inhaling back, exhaling up. Inhaling, massaging the spine. One more. Finding the balance to finish, a deep lift inside. Placing the feet down, rolling back down to prepare for the series of 5. Bringing the legs to tabletop with the ribs anchored, the pelvis neutral. Arms go straight to the sky. Take a deep breath in. Shoulder blades down the back, collarbone is wide. Chin to chest. Exhale, rolling the upper body off the mat. We begin by bringing the left knee towards the forehead. The right leg is reaching from the sits bone through the heel, trying to lengthen my leg beyond the wall in the distance. And then I change, maintaining a flat abdominal wall, collarbone wide. It's more about lengthening through this extended leg and lengthening through the spine in the opposite direction, rather than pulling. And we go. Striving to bring the body to the leg rather than the leg to the body. Anchoring the ribs through the mat, lengthening the legs long away. Right into double leg stretch. Take a deep breath in as you reach both legs away, arms extend. Exhale, scoop, pull yourself a little higher with your arms. See if you can challenge yourself to stay at that height when you let go and straighten. Exhale, bring them back. Inhale to reach. Reaching the sits bones through the heels here. Exhale to return. Inhale to reach. Collarbone is wide. Exhale to return. Inhale to reach. Exhale to return. One more. Inhale to reach. Exhale to return. To advance, we take the arms by the ears. Exhale, sweep them around. Inhale. Exhale, sweep them around. One more. Inhale. Exhale and sweep them around. Rest the upper body. Look right and left. Relax the head and neck. Moving into single straight leg stretch. Legs go straight to the sky. Absolutely fine if you need to have your knees bent just a little bit. Or straighten, wrapping from the low glutes. Legs are slightly turned out. Arms to the sky. Chin to chest, roll your upper body off the mat and reach your fingertips up towards the ankles as high as you can. This is about reaching for the sky. Legs are reaching for the sky, arms are reaching for the sky. From there, use one hand to gently pull, or the hands to gently pull one leg towards you as the other leg reaches away. And this can be a small range of motion, right? Equal distance from the sky. Or if it's available to you, you can go ahead into the splits, thinking about drawing the ribs towards the pelvis the whole time. So the torso, the core, is working to keep the torso off the mat, while the arms are simply adding a little bit of stretch to the back line of the body. And then rest. Hands behind the back of the skull. Going into double straight leg stretch. Once again, wrap from the top of the hip, deep rotators active, lengthening sits bones through the heels, chin to chest, exhale, roll the upper body off the mat. Legs are going to now lengthen long away, only so far as you can keep your abdominal wall flat and the abdominal zipped such that the lower back does not arch. And then exhale the legs right back up to center. Inhale, legs lengthen away. And exhale, send the sits bones through the heels. The back line of the body is very strong here. So I'm really trying to release the hip flexors and work from the back of the body. 2 more. And the last one. And take a rest. Look side to side, relax your head and neck and shoulders. Going right into crisscross. Hands once again behind the back of the skull, chin to chest. Exhale, rolling the upper body off the mat. Let's begin. Preparatory exercise. Try to touch your knees and your elbows together. Feel that hugging of the rib cage down the back. No pulling on the neck. This is an activation energy from the powerhouse. My hands are just framing my skull. From here, rotate opposite rib to opposite pelvis. Legs are zipping together as I rotate, striving to bring opposite knee to opposite elbow. The bonus is pushing them into one another, creating an isometric resistance,
really squeezing that opposite rib to opposite hip. And then to advance, we take the legs lower towards the earth, keeping the abdominal wall flat, keeping the shoulder blades off the mat, really hugging that opposite rib to opposite pelvis. Draw both knees in, inhale, exhale, roll yourself up right into spine stretch forward. Feet can be mat distance apart. Once again, establish your center up on your sits bones. Give your seat a squeeze, your glutes a squeeze, and send the energy through the heels. Also, if it's not available to straighten the legs, absolutely fine to keep the knees bent. You could even place a foam roller under your knees, pillows under your knees, something that allows you to feel comfortable and be able to access your powerhouse. Collarbone is wide. Fingertips are on the mat to begin. Chin to chest. Exhale. Scoop. I'm diving my abdominals in and up underneath my rib cage, keeping my weight centered on my sits bones, and then inhale to float all the way back up. Exhale, chin to chest, squeezing my abdominals, allowing them to reach up underneath my rib cage, and then inhale, restacking in my two-way stretch. Progressing, if you would like, or continuing with that first version. Arms are parallel to the ground. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, up and over. Diving over an imaginary fitness ball. Abdominals squeeze deeply into you. And then inhale. Stacking up nice and tall. Exhale, up and over. Inhale to restack. And one more. Exhale, up and over. And inhale to restack. Going on into open leg rocker. Hands behind the back of the thigh. The feet are mat distance apart, similar to rolling like a ball, but with a longer lever. We will scoop the powerhouse such that the pelvis tilts backward, collarbone stays wide, elbows stay wide. Preparation. We'll reach the left heel off the mat, point the foot, and return. In this exercise, we are establishing the back line, the posterior chain energy, reaching the sits bone through the heel, out through space, lengthening, keeping that upward lift through the spine without compressing, keep lifting, and then we progress into finding the balance. So that deep abdominal lift is now in full play. We can prepare with our legs behind the back of the thigh like this. If it's available to you, you may hold the back of the ankles and straighten the leg, scooping inside the pelvis, using the powerhouse to initiate the rolling and to break it in the balance. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, scoop to roll. And finding the balance. Inhale. One more. Legs touch back down to the mat to prepare for saw. Flex the feet, open the arms wide. I like to do this one with a little bit of shoulder blades hugging the spine so you really establish a wide opening of the chest. Inhale to extend the spine. Rotate as you exhale. Invert the back arm, saw off your little toe with your little pinky. And then an imaginary hand pulls the back arm back up. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, rotate. Sawing off your little toe. Back arm pulls you back up. We continue. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Finding your center, reach the arms up to finish and all the way back down. Into corkscrew. Coming back onto your back, legs go up to the sky. We begin with a modified corkscrew to learn the material. Arms are down by the sides of the body in 45-degree angles. Ribs are anchored, pelvis is anchored. Legs are zipped together. They're glued strongly together, like a mermaid's tail. Inhale the legs across to the right. Left hip will lift slightly off. Down around in a circle, keeping the flatness of the abdominal wall. Here, the right hip will lift slightly off the mat and back to center, such that the ankle bones stay together the whole time. The pelvis will lift one side at a time. To reverse, inhale to the left, right hip lifts off, circling the legs around to the level that's available to you, and to the right, and back to center. More advanced. Take a deep breath in, we jackknife up, and we roll down on the right side of the body, lowering the right hip to the mat, sweep the legs around to the left, and all the way up. Inhale, exhale, scoop, rolling down, left side of the spine, sweeping the legs around to the right, and back up. Inhale, exhale, rolling on the right side of the spine. Right hip grounds, sweep around, and up. And left side of the spine, striving to keep the toes right in alignment with your nose. And around, and all the way back up. Slowly back down through the jackknife position to finish. And rolling yourself back up. Going right into swan. Let's begin with the arms in a goalpost position. Forehead is on the mat. Legs can be hip distance apart. Take a moment to send the pubic bone, the base of the pelvis, forward into the mat, such that the abdominals zip up the front. You've got a long lumbar spine and flatness through the front of the hips. That is to counter the natural pull of gravity into an anterior tilt, which would compress our lower back. This is a strong activation of sits bones through the heels, abdominals working to stabilize as we extend through the upper back. Arms in a goalpost position, shoulder blades down the back. Take a deep breath in. Push an imaginary ball away with the nose, rising to the height that your upper back will allow. Then brace the ribs towards the pelvis and extend through the arms. I'm really anchoring my ribs down and pressing the base of my pelvis forward to avoid arching in my lower back and compressing my lower back. And then lowering all the way back down. And we go. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, imprint base of the pelvis, shoulder blades down. Rising up through space. My ribs and pelvis are anchored towards one another. And lowering back down. And one more deep breath in. Lengthening the spine, broadening the collarbone, feeling the length of my sits bones through my heels, front of the hips long, and all the way back down. Sitting back into child's pose. Take a deep breath into your lower back. And then coming right back into position for a single leg kick. Arms up by the ears. Pull the elbows into the mat to draw your body into position. Once again, not arching my lower back. I'm rather pushing the base of my pelvis, which activates my low abs, and anchoring my ribs into my powerhouse to maintain a long spine. Shoulder blades down the back, my collarbone is wide. I'm going to pull my right heel to my sits bone. Abs are working hard to keep my body neutral. And release. And the other side. Pulling my left heel to my sits bone. This is a really nice quadricep stretch while activating the hamstrings and the low abs and away. And then we can take up the pace. We exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Last one. And lowering back down. Right into double leg kick. Hands beside the body for this one. Flex the legs, bring the heels quite close to your sits bones, squeeze your legs together, and press the base of the pelvis into the mat. As we inhale, lengthen the legs from the sits bones through the heels. Upper body rises, squeezing shoulder blades together. Reach the arms towards the heels. Low abs are guiding the pubic bone, tailbone into the mat to resist compression of the lower back. And then we bring the opposite ear, we kick 3 times. Inhaling up. And exhaling, kick 3 times. Inhaling up. And exhale. Legs zip together. Harnessing pelvic floor, inner thighs. Last one. And then reaching the arms and legs long. Hands under the shoulders, pressing back into child's pose. And then shooting the legs through, we come into the neck pull position. Feet are now hip distance apart. Legs are straight. If you need to, you're welcome to have them slightly bent. Again, you could put a foam roller under your knees or blocks or a ball. And then our hands are going to come behind the base of the skull, reaching the energy of the sits bones powerfully through the heels. Spine reaches powerfully up. I'm getting as tall as I possibly can. And then I inhale, I hinge on the sits bones to the challenge point, right where I feel like, oh, I might start to lose control. That is when I then scoop, roll my upper body down, keeping my legs on the mat all the way down. Take a deep breath in. And we'll begin by bringing the hands behind the back of the thighs for assistance. Chin to chest. Keeping the legs rooted into the mat, I round, bringing my head right to my knees in a tight ball, and then I inhale, long spine. We go, inhale, and exhale. Hands behind the back of the thighs, chin to chest. Technique is much more important than repetitions or speed. Clarity of technique is the essence of strength and alignment. Sending the sits bones through the heels, and oftentimes moving slower is much harder. Hands behind the back of the legs, chin to chest, exhale, rolling up. Send the sits bones through the heels, head to the knees, and extending all the way up. Last one, inhale, long spine. Exhale, scoop, rolling down, one vertebra at a time. Abdominal zipping up, sits bones reaching through the heels. And then we'll advance hands, stay here, chin to chest. Rounding up, head to the knees. And rolling all the way back up into tall sitting. Advancing right into high knees and scissor. For high scissors and bicycle. Take a deep breath in. Either développé your legs up to the sky, or more advanced, send your sits bones through your heels, keeping your lower back flat, sending the legs up from the earth. Into a jackknife, hands come behind the base of the pelvis, shoulders are out of the ears, elbows reach long away from the ears. Right into scissors, extending one leg towards the nose and the other leg away. Flex the heels to really harness the power of the sits bones reaching through the heels, harnessing the energy of the back line of the body, reaching through space. And then let's point the feet again and add our pulse. Spine is reaching up to the sky. Ribs are anchored down, going right into bicycle, striving to get as much distance between the knees while keeping the powerhouse strong. Running on the clouds, and let's reverse. And then place one leg down and the other right into shoulder bridge. Repositioning the hands underneath the bony pelvis, extending the upper body to create space, elbows reaching long away from the ears. We begin by extending one leg up to the sky, lengthening it long away, and let's kick it today with through the heel. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to flex. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to flex, and other side. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to flex. Powerhouse is working to keep the lower back long, resisting spinal compression. And then folding the leg back under and rolling all the way back down. Hug your knees into your chest. Inhale, rock back. Exhale, roll up to sit. Okay, side lying legs. We'll begin in a functional position. The front leg is the bottom leg is at 90 degrees, in line with your hip. Top leg is in line with the body, knee and toe pointed straight forward. The upper body, you can be on the palm of your hand with the elbow rooted into the mat and the lower hip rooted into the mat. Or if it's better for you, you are welcome to have the arm down, face down or face up, pushing into the mat in order to keep the bottom waistline lifted and the core active. Hips and shoulders are stacked to the sky. We begin. As we exhale, we reach through the seat, floating the leg long. Point to lower back down. Exhale, reaching the seat through the heel. Point to lower back down. Continuing with a nice hold at the top and a reach. You can feel that crease in the side of your glute when you're working. Abdominals stay flat, body stays long. Very nice is to push the bottom hip into the mat and the elbow into the mat to really activate the powerhouse. Floating up and back down. We progress into single leg lift in the Pilates classical style. Float the legs up 6 inches forward and back down. You are on the ball of the bottom foot. Legs are turned out in Pilates first. We will point the leg, kicking it up, and flex it to zip the legs back together. Powerhouse works to keep the torso long and resist compression and side bending. Inhale, floating up, and exhale, zipping the legs together. One more. Inhale, floating up, and exhale, zipping the legs together, right into leg kick front. Floating the leg up, we sweep the heel forward, point it to take the leg behind us, lengthening, zipping up the abdominals as we lengthen the leg away. Sits bone reaches through the heel. And keeping the leg at hip height, like a rainbow, parallel to the floor, sweeping it through. Exhale, kick it forward. It would be very easy to do this in a sloppy fashion, and it's very demanding to do it in a well-performed fashion. Exhale, sweeping the leg forward and pointing it away. We move on into rond de jambe or single leg circle. Leg is turned out. I'm going to take the leg forward as far as I can. That's available to me with good technique. In an externally rotated position, I lengthen it up to the ceiling, and then I internally rotate to take it behind me, keeping my abdominals lifted and my seat reaching through my heel. Here we go, lengthening forward, arcing upward, long through the spine, internal rotation, and then we reverse, internally rotate, lengthen the leg to externally rotate, and forward, and one more, internally rotate, externally rotate, and all the way back to center. Mermaids to transition. Draw the heels into you. Take hold of the ankle. Lengthen up through your body. Side bend. Look down at your ankles. And then up towards your elbow. And unfurl. Hopping on the other side. Let's begin in that functional position with the front leg or the bottom leg at 90 degrees. Once again, choose your arm position that's good for your body. Anchoring down by pushing the elbow and the bottom hip into the mat. We go. Exhale, flex to reach. Inhale to lower. Exhale, flex to reach. Hips and shoulders are stacked to the sky. Collarbone is wide. I inhale, I lengthen, I reach. I exhale and I lower. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Bringing the legs together. I zip them together, sweep them 6 inches forward and down. Into Pilates first, grounded on the ball of my bottom foot. My legs are zipped together. I pull that energy up along the front of the spine, out through the crown of the head. Side leg lift in the classical style. Pointing up, we zip the legs back together with a flexed foot. Inhaling up and exhaling down. And inhaling up and exhaling down. And it's very common to feel one side is easier than the other, one side is more responsive than the other, and it's our work to bring as much symmetry into our body as possible. Moving on into leg kick front, float the leg up to hip height, and we sweep the leg forward, pointing it away, keeping the leg in external rotation, and then it can go into medial rotation in the extension. Going on into rondejambe, we sweep the leg forward, rolling up towards the sky and around, rolling the leg bone in the hip socket, externally rotating, internally rotating, and then we reverse internal to external and forward, and one more, internal and external and together. Side bend mermaid, taking hold of the ankles, arm reaches up by the ear, folding over, looking down at the ankles, and breathing into that waistline, into the rib cage, and all the way back down into swimming, coming face down. Legs can be hip distance apart. Arms can be goalpost position if that's better for your shoulders, or extended up by the ears. Take a deep breath into the length of the spine. Exhale, imprint the low part of your pelvis, the base of the pelvis, into the mat, and float the skull off the mat 2 inches. Inhale, reaching right arm, left leg so long that they float off the mat. Imagine someone is pulling your wrist and your ankle away from you. You'll feel a strong activation in the seat to do that, and roll the way back down. Other side. Inhale to lengthen, opposite arm and leg, diagonal slings, and lowering back down. Your challenge is to keep the lower back long, low abs, actively working to keep that pelvis steady. No arching of the lower back here. As you're working, there will be a small natural arch, but no compression of the lower back. And then float, opposite arm and leg up, and the other side. And we go into rapid swimming. Deep breath in, and exhale, and in, and out, and in, and out. Reach everything long, and everything back down. Hands under your shoulders, press back into child's pose. Shooting the legs through, coming into teaser. Body is long. And sweep the arms around by the side of the body, chin to chest, reaching out through the heels into your teaser position. Legs are slightly turned out. Inhale, big breath. And exhale, chin to chest, scooping inside the pelvis to rise. And lower, one more deep breath in. And exhale. Legs lower and lift 3 times. Sending the seat through the heels. Take a deep breath in. Little beats all the way down towards the earth, all the way back up. Collarbone stays wide. Body stays lifted. And hold. Entire body floats back down. And then hug your knees to your chest. Inhale, rock back. Exhale, rolling forward right into our plank position. Hands are directly under the shoulders. Sits bones are reaching through the heels. Abdominals are lifted. Legs can be hip distance apart. Collarbone is wide. Push into the ground with the fingertips. Into leg pull. Extend the left leg from the seat through the heel. Holding your body in the center. No shifting side to side. And the other side. Lengthening from the seat through the heel. Collarbone stays wide. Spine stays tall. We add the sawing action for leg pull facing front. We reach. And reach. One more. And then lowering the knees. We draw the legs through. And let's go right into leg pull facing up. Hands can be turned out to 45 degrees. Shoulder blades hugging the spine. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, curl the tailbone up, arcing the body up into a reverse plank position and lowering back down. Take a deep breath in. And again, shoulder blades hug the spine. Scoop, low abs and seat working very powerfully in coordination. And all the way back down. This time we'll hold and go into the leg activity. Here we go, floating the body up. Today, let's développer the leg and flex it down. And développer and flex. Powerfully through the arms. Strong in the legs, strong in the seat, strong in the abdominals. 2 more. And lowering the body, folding forward, and rest the upper body. Rolling back up into our side plank series. Bring your body into position with the top leg, the foot is right in front of the bottom leg, and the hand is going to form a triangle with the armpit and the hip, such that when we go up into a side plank, the shoulder will be directly over the palm. And then bring your opposite hand onto your thigh. Here, we're going to zip up through the abdominals, root down through the shoulder blade, hug the seat, and zip the inseams of the legs together all at once to come into a side plank. Take a deep breath in. Be very rooted through the top foot, and as you exhale, send the body over the hand. Zipping the legs strongly together, reach the arm up in your side plank star. Here, the shoulder blades are hugging down the back, ribs are anchored, legs are zipping together. Push, glutes are pushing through the heels in order to float the body up into space. And then we can add a side bend, taking the palm up towards the ear, look down at the floor. And then bring the arm back to a side plank star. And then lower your body all in one piece. Hips down, floating down. We'll do it one more time. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, push into the mat first to set your stabilizers. Then you move. Squeezing inner thighs together. Abdominal zip up along the front of the spine. And side bend. Into side star. And lowering back down. Whole thing on the other side. Top foot is forward. Hand is in alignment with a triangular 3-point alignment with the armpit and the hip. And take a deep breath in. Shoulder blades down, ribs anchored, abs zipped, glute fires through the heels. Here we go. Exhale, up and over. Side plank. Zipping inner thighs together. Inhale, up and over into side bend. Back to side star. And all the way back down. Very important, shoulder blades anchored down the back the whole time. Keeping the neck soft and long. Take a deep breath in. Exhale into side plank. Push through the legs, through the arms. Lengthening upward. Back to side star. And all the way down. And then coming face down. Push-up modification. Squeeze the inner thighs together, bend the knees, and pull the heels towards your sits bones. Actively drive the base of the pelvis forward. Very easy for me to be compressed in my lower back. It's my responsibility to use my abs to dive the tailbone, pubic bone forward, lengthen my lower back, lengthen the front of my hips. Hands will be at about the level of T4, so right down by the, such that the fingertips are right by the armpits. First, I press into the mat to activate my chest muscles and my core. And then exhale, pressing up in one piece. Inhale, slowly back down. Shoulder blades down, pressing base of the pelvis forward, lengthening through my spine. And one more. Excellent way to prepare for the full push-up. Same preparation. Here now, my toes are apart, heels together. Draw my shoulder blades together, press the base of my pelvis forward, take a deep breath in. First, I push into the mat to activate, lengthen my spine, right up in one piece. And then walking the hands back to the toes. And relax, bend the knees, traction, head, neck, and shoulders down to the earth. And then exhale, rolling up one vertebra at a time.
lengthening back up into the vertical space. And then we will reground as we started to prepare for the rest of the day. The body backs up over the heels. Press the balls of the feet into the earth to establish your center. Bring your legs into Pilates first such that the heels are together, toes are apart. And you feel a wide clavicle. Arms down by the side of the body, neck is free. Ribs are anchored into the powerhouse. Glutes are firing down into the heels. Abdominals are lifting long and flat through the front, along the front of the spine, out through the crown of the head. And then there's a string at the base of my skull, which begins to just pull me up towards the sky as my inseams zip together, floating the heels off the mat. Take a deep breath in, reach the arms up by the ears. 3 arm circles, inhaling to open. Exhaling down, inhaling. And exhaling. 2-way stretch, telescoping spine up and down simultaneously. Inhale. Arms open. Heels lower. Spine loose. Strong and aligned for the day ahead. Thank you so much. Reward yourself for taking excellent care of yourself through intelligent movement, positive mindset, nourishing food, and quality rest. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy being strong and aligned in body and mind.